Do you know how excited I was when I found out I was dreaming too small and I was not asking for enough? Do you know the gratitude I felt when I found out that God can exceed my expectations? Man, wait until you find out. Welcome in or welcome back if this is your first time here. My name is Taylor and I make videos on practical faith, practicing self-love, and preserving your temples. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to let me know. You can even leave your thoughts below. Now, without further ado, let's get into what you came for. How can God exceed your expectations? Well, we are going to find the answer in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. I'm going to start by reading the scripture, and then I'm going to break down what it's actually saying to us. And then we're going to get into some practical life lessons that you can apply to your life today. I only have 3 lessons today, so if that sounds like a plan, my friends, stay tuned. Now, shall we get started? I think so. Join me, friends, in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20, where it reads, "Now to him who is able to do above and beyond all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us." Man, those little lines, so much punch. What is Paul talking about in that line? Now, I am going to be reading from my notes, because if I try to do this from memory, I'm going to mess it up. You're welcome. Okay, what is Paul talking about? Paul continues his prayer for the believers, encouraging them to be rooted and grounded in God's agape love, which is reliable, all-encompassing, and the foundation of their faith. Because of this faith, he transitions to emphasize that God can do far more than we can even think or ask. He begins by saying that God is able, highlighting his inherent power, strength, and complete capability. God is fully capable not only of providing what we need, but also of giving beyond what our minds can even comprehend. The verse stresses exceeding abundance, not simply overflow. It's more than we can imagine or ask for. God works beyond human imagination, surpassing both what we ask for in prayer and what we might even consider asking for in our minds. This abundance is made possible because God's power works within us through the Holy Spirit. In other words, the same spirit and power that raised Christ from the dead is at work in all believers, opening the door for extraordinary results in all of our lives. How amazing is that? Now let's get into the lesson so we can apply this practically. Starting with number 1. God's power is limitless and works within you. Trust that God is capable of doing far more than we can imagine. When you face challenges, remember that God's power isn't limited by your circumstances. You don't have to rely on your strength alone. Look for ways God can act through you. Your gifts, talents, and opportunities become channels for his extraordinary work. Listen, you could take my life, for example. So I've already spoken on my page a bit about some of the trials I experienced at my corporate job, right? And my circumstances would have me feeling very down. My circumstances would have me feeling like there's no hope for a future because, man, my management team put me through the ringer. And I know my management team don't like me because I put them on blast. So as far as excelling in that career field, at least not in that department, I don't see it. And if that was solely my focus, I would probably be depressed. But thank God the Lord is limitless. And where he shut one door, he opened another one because he opened a door in my mind of a different possibility that my life can take, which is content creation. He has inspired me to start an Etsy shop, to start a Substack, to start my YouTube channel. And he showed me all these ways of where I can invest my time, my energy, doing something I actually enjoy doing, and that can become fruitful for me. He has opened the door in my mind to think that was possible for me, something I never thought of before. So where my circumstances, my immediate circumstances look very debilitating, gruesome, not fun, very depressing, the Lord still made a way for me to have hope and have joy while I'm walking through the season, because I am still walking through this season. But instead of fixating on my current circumstances, the Lord has opened the door for a different path for me, something that uses my gifts, something that can give me an opportunity based on a talent He gave me, because I can yap. And now I yap to a camera. I don't even care about yapping at work no more. I'm like, whatever. I'm just here until the Lord says I can leave, okay? So you just kind of have to, don't focus on your situation and think that's the end all be all, because the Lord is limitless. And where one door closes, 5 more will certainly open. And that really gives me hope. I have something to look forward to, knowing this is not my end state. Who knows how long I'm gonna be there, because I don't know the timeline necessarily, but I know what I'm hoping for and what I'm believing God for. And that gets me through my circumstances. Okay. Let's get into the next lesson. Have faith and ask beyond your comfort zone. God exceeds not just our requests, but even our thoughts and imaginations. Don't limit your prayers or dreams, because God's abundance flows because of your faith in Him. Pray boldly and ask for what seems impossible or beyond what seems reasonable. God delights in exceeding expectations. So let's take a field trip. Let's take a field trip to Matthew chapter 17, specifically verse 20, where it reads, He said to them, because of your little faith, for truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. There's a similar verse in Mark chapter 11, verse 23. And what that is highlighting is you have the faith that something will happen. You ask for it boldly, and then you start taking actions like you are actually going to achieve it. And that's literally what it looks like for me. Like, it was definitely out of my comfort zone to believe God that content creation can become something that is fruitful for me and will provide for me, because no one in my immediate life is living that way. Everyone in my immediate life has, standard regular jobs. But one thing I've always been good at is looking at things and seeing what I do not like. And when I go to work, everyone looks miserable. I don't want to be like them. I'm at a place where this is people's careers, so I'm seeing all ages. I'm seeing up to retirement. And these people be so miserable. I said, I don't want this for my life. When I look at people in my family, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to work. Everyone just complains. I don't want to do that. So I look around. I've always been very good at saying, yep, I do not want that. I do not want that. And then, the hard part is figuring out what you do want. But thank the Lord, He told me what I want. And I said, that sounds like a good idea, Lord. I'm surprised you would unlock that idea in my mind. I'm surprised you would allow me to believe that that is possible for me. And now the only thing I have to do is start taking steps to achieve it. Might as well. I got nothing else to lose. I can either stay in my current situation and just complain, or I can actively take steps to get to something else. And the Lord has empowered me to literally keep showing up. The more steps I take, the more confident I grow believing the Lord for this thing. The more confident I grow asking for something that's not typical, something that's not what I'm seeing a lot around my actual life. So that verse that I read, you just have to have the faith of a mustard seed. That is very small, very, very small. Literally, probably smaller than this button. And if you just have that much faith, that little faith that can happen for you, and you don't doubt in your heart, it will be possible for you. That is the promise Jesus is making. So for me, I have faith that content creation will be what the Lord uses to provide for me, and I will be able to retire myself from this corporate America, okay? And despite the fact, the evidence, my circumstance, because I'm still at my corporate job at the time I'm making this video, despite the fact the evidence is telling me I should not believe that, that is the very principle faith is built on. You have to believe it before you see it, and you have to work towards it like you already achieved it. And that's how I'm operating right now. That is how I'm operating. So when I do pop, it's gonna make this video that much more powerful. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. All right, let's move into the last lesson for today's video. Think beyond human limits and live expectantly. God's plan often exceeds what you can foresee. Release control and don't be discouraged when life doesn't match your plan. God may be preparing something far greater than you imagine. Keep an expectant heart. Look for blessings, opportunities, and answers to prayers. Walk confidently knowing God is at work in you in ways that you just might not see yet. So we're going to take another field trip to really seal that deal home, okay? We are going to go to Matthew chapter 11, verse 6, where it reads, "And blessed is the one who is not offended by me." A similar verse would be Luke chapter 7, verse 23, but I want to harp on this. Blessed is the one, let me read it again. Blessed is the one who is not offended by me. That is Jesus talking. Jesus is saying the blessed person is the one not offended by him, which means the blessed person is the one that keeps showing up even when they're not seeing what they expect to be seeing. Blessed is the person that keeps going. Because alternatively, if you're not getting the results that you expected because you're looking for your will and not God's will, so now you're not seeing the results you expected to see, that throws you off course. You would be the opposite of blessed. Jesus is saying, don't stop showing up when you're not seeing what you expect to be seeing, because who knows how the Lord's going to pull it together, okay? Let's talk about Noah's Ark. You know the story of Noah. He built that ark. He built that ark when he had never seen rain in his life. Everyone thought he was crazy. They were like, what are you doing? Like, that is what it looks like to believe beyond human limits and to live expectantly. The Lord told Noah, I'm about to wipe this place out. Built that ark. Despite his circumstances, despite the evidence he was seeing saying, I've never seen rain in my life, and all of a sudden there's going to be this massive flood, okay? Like, despite the fact his reality was not supporting what he was told, what he heard in his ear, he still showed up. He still spent all those years building that ark. And guess what? When he finished the ark, that's when the rain came. So sometimes you got to just see it through. You have to live expecting that you are going to receive what you heard in your ear, what you saw in your mind. Because if you can see it, you can believe it. And if you can believe it, you can achieve it. That is what I'm living by personally with my YouTube journey. At the time I'm making this video, I have now been making my YouTube videos for going on 3 months. It's been over 2 months, but not quite 3. And I am living expectantly that when it pops, it's gonna pop, okay? I'm putting the work in. I'm doing what I feel the Lord has told me to do. I'm finding joy in doing it. The hardest part about making these videos is like keeping up with the timeline that I've set, because I come out with a video every single day. That is a lot. That is a lot, especially when these Bible studies, the videos be under 20 minutes. You know how long it took me to research and then create my notes? This, for example, today's notes, this is it. This is today's notes. It probably took me an hour and a half to research, to just research and think about how I'm going to write this. And then to actually write it in my notepad, probably another half an hour. So yeah, it takes me a good 2 hours to get one lesson together. Then I gotta record the video and put it on YouTube. The hardest part is keeping up with that, because it is a lot, but I enjoy it because it keeps me accountable, because I'm walking through the word and then I'm just teaching what I'm learning. I'm sharing my Bible study. And like I said, it helps keep me accountable because I want to grow in my word. I want to know what this is saying. I want to do the deep research. You know how people talk about, they set a goal of just reading the Bible in a year, for example. I'm not trying to bash nobody, but reading the Bible in a year to me isn't a big accomplishment, because I could read it in the year and not understand a thing I read. I don't want to run by the lessons. I want to do deep dive so I understand what this is talking about so I can then go live it out. People that read fast don't comprehend, in my opinion. I'm not even a fast reader. I can read the same thing a few times before I actually comprehend. So it's a form of accountability for me to do this. I'm believing in God for a result that I'm hoping to see. I have this specific belief tied to other beliefs. So this is all about faith for me. I am definitely I stepped out of my comfort zone starting this, putting myself out there in this way. Like, anyone can see this. Like, I'm caring more about the promises the Lord has given me than what I'll look like to other people. I care more about showing up, doing what the Lord has showed me to do, than hanging out, because I have to sacrifice a lot of time to do what I'm doing. But I care more deeply. I'm more passionate about this than anything else, if I'm being honest. Like, I live expectantly because the Lord has already shown me something that no one else can see. No one else is going to believe it, but it's enough for me to believe. It's enough for me to walk the path, because the Lord gave the revelation to me. He didn't give it to no one else. So I can't rely on other people to see the vision that I see and to like support me. A lot of people don't know what I'm doing. A lot of people probably think I'm crazy. A lot of people don't pay attention to me. But you know, sometimes strangers be your biggest supporters. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. Jesus himself said, a prophet is not without honor except in his own home, or something like that. And by that he was saying the people closest to you won't recognize your talent. Strangers will recognize your talent before the people closest to you do. It's not an end-all be-all statement, because there are some people close in my life that support me. But to be honest, most of my support comes from strangers, if I'm being honest. So take that for what you will. All you have to do is live expectantly, taking actions towards the revelation the Lord has given you. Other people won't understand it. Other people might not support it, but the Lord will exceed your expectations if you just step faithfully in the direction he told you to step in, okay? So, what did we learn in today's video? Small faith in a big God makes the impossible possible. And I share this message with an expectant heart because the things I'm believing God for have not happened for me yet. I am still working my corporate job that I don't want to work no more. But I trust the Lord is using it to build me up in ways that I might not even know yet. He revealed a little bit to me yesterday, but the Lord is using this season to get me ready for my next season. And he's already shown me what is available for me if I just take these steps. So I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what I look like. I'm showing up and living expectantly, believing God for what he has told me is available for me. And I think it's very powerful for me to share this message while I'm in the thick of it. People normally people normally pop out to share their highlights, to show the end result. Y'all are gonna see me through the journey. Because I am believing for God for a specific thing, for specific things actually. And I believe the impossible is made possible in God. I have faith for that, and I live expecting to see it. I don't know when I'm gonna see it. I'm not holding God to a timeline. I do hope it is soon. But I'm not gonna force a timeline, because then that leaves room for me to be disappointed when things don't happen on my timeline, on my will. And remember what Jesus said, blessed is the person that is not offended by him. Don't stop showing up when you don't get what you want when you want it, okay? Because God is on his time, not our time. Hard truth to swallow, I know. But that's a truth I had to swallow, and that's a truth you're going to have to swallow, okay? And you know what? You find more peace and joy when you just let go of certain expectations and just go with the flow in that sense, okay? So I hope this lesson blesses you. I hope it encourages you to ask boldly, pray boldly, seek boldly. Do not limit yourself to just what everyone else around you is doing. And don't allow other people to place the limitations they have on their life on your life. Because if I allowed everyone else's limitations to hold me back, I would not be making this video. I'll tell you that. So don't allow other people to limit you. Pray boldly to the Lord and live expectantly that you will receive what you just asked for, as long as it's fruitful. Don't be praying for anything that's not fruitful, because he's not giving it to you, okay? Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you give it a like If you liked it, if it taught you something, if it inspired you, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe, because we are walking through Ephesians. I drop new videos every day. Leave it in the comments, your thoughts. I want to hear from you. What are you believing in the Lord for? What would you allow yourself to believe if there were no limitations? What could you achieve if you didn't think? What do you think you could achieve if you didn't allow the world to place limitations on you, or your surrounding circumstances to place limitations on you? I want to know. Let me know. Put it in the comments. Who else is going to see your comment? A bunch of strangers. And you know what? Sometimes the best support comes from strangers, okay? I hope to hear from you. If you're interested in a 2026 faith-based affirmational calendar or a drink the living water cup, this comes in 5 different colors. If you're interested in any of that, they are available for sale on my Etsy shop, which is linked in the description below. Again, give me a like, support the channel. Give me a comment, support the channel. I just told you I'm trying to get out of my corporate job. The Lord is trying to use you to help me get out of it, okay? Support the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and come back tomorrow, where we drop new videos every day, because we are tiptoeing through Ephesians. Thank you again for listening. I know I started rambling at the end. I'm about to get out of here. See you tomorrow. Bye.